Okay, quick Friday morning radar update. So 4 on the floor this morning. We're through the previous day's highs on all markets. Gaps up, just gap attempts on the FTSE 100 250. Small caps going sideways above the opening range, which is extremely strong action. DAX above the opening range. Obviously, with that pop this morning, the FTSE 100 is sort of range bound. So 2 on the floor, but 4 through the highs. As in, 4 on the floor will be all firing on all 4 cylinders. That's the way I sort of look at it. Good action. Metal stocks had a couple of pretty nice days, really. And even the gold miners in the US, even they bounced. Just listening to a podcast, and it kind of puts this on my mind. When gold stocks are ready, we will see the gold stocks in the screens. You know, when they're ready to do that sort of across the board, they don't tend to move very well on their own. They like to move as a group. They're like hyenas. So, when the gold stocks are ready, we will see them. Just going off piste very slightly. I get asked a lot of questions through the social media about trading, and gold's probably one of the common questions. What do you think about gold? And basically, the way we do things, especially at trading bases, is we come at the screens every day. One simple thing to see: every stock what's near a breakout level, every stock what's turning up from a pullback. And I also drop the screens in the chat as well. We see everything, so we get a good feel for the markets. So I get asked a lot of questions. Now, my sort of turn that on its head. If the person asking the question looked at the markets and said to me, why are we seeing these gold stocks? We haven't seen them in a while. I'd go, you've nailed it. You know, that is how you come at it. But what tends to happen is the little seed is planted because they've read about gold, or, you know, they've read everything's about, you know, a lot, you know, high percent is not to do with what they actually see through their eyes. So to improve your... Sorry, a message just popped up on the screen then. To improve your market sort of blinkers, whatever you want to call it, you know, your what's the word for it? To improve being in tune with what is actually happening, look at the markets and tell me what you see, because that is going to be probably something what I'm seeing. If we trade similar and we look for stocks what are trending higher or about to trend higher, we will see them. And, you know, what you see through your own eyes as it's coming towards you is probably where you're going to find the better reward to risk. Now, I'm talking about, you know, stocks starting to populate your screens rather than seeing a big trend in the rear view mirrors, and, you know, looking out the front windscreen, stocks what haven't moved yet, or stocks what, you know, you've seen them move up. What tends to happen is a stock makes a move, and this is what we call the story zone. Everyone talks about it, and then everyone stops talking about it because it drifts off. But what if this stock just did a normal pullback and then you start seeing them again? That is the area where your eyes do the work, you know? Not talking about gold here, I'm talking about stocks in general. They break out, they pull back in, they do the normal action, and then, you know, if you see it in your own eyes happening, a sector starts to move. You know, it was a few weeks ago, we saw banks, and we saw REITs, and we saw house builders, and then go and have a look at them now. Across the board moves. They all started with us seeing them in the screens first. They populated the screens. So you've got to move from viewing things second hand to you being the bringer of news. This is what I'm seeing now through my eyes, because you might have been investing for 2 months in the market, and someone else might have been invested for 2 decades. And if you look at the screens and tell me what you see in the screens today, it's going to be more important and more relevant and more likely to make money than someone who's been in the markets 2 decades and is just rehashing old news. Bob's Top Stock Picks newsletter is talking about coal stocks or whatever. What you see, nobody will be talking about. So it's making the leap from secondhand sort of news, all that stuff built, or even rumours of news, because rumours of market news is just as bad. Is it happening? Tick that box. Do I see it? Is it happening? Are they emerging now? If they are, well, you're onto something. You're doing what, the 10% of successful sort of what really sort of make gains do. They see it with their own eyes. That is where the reward to risk exists. For me, breakouts and turning up from pullbacks. That's where I focus. We will see the whole sector start to turn up. House builders, go and rehash that sort of previous move. Go and have a look at it. It's made a big move. Another thing I will say is, a lot of the time you don't believe it when you see it. Ooh, I see these house builders here. What's the reason? And you might want to go and look for a reason for the house builders to move. No, if they're all moving, you take notice of what's happening, not what you think should happen. That is how money is made in markets. I will say it again. The key is to have good software. Bring down the and I'm not doing a share scope pump here. I pay full money for my share scope. I pay the full whack. I have no discount on this. But if you get good data, I use share scope for the data mining feature. I can condense down the whole market into a very simple process. It's worth its weight in the hours I save to do that. So let's move on. It's a little talk on sort of looking at a lot of stuff comes to me second hand or rear view, and you've got to turn that on your head and start ploughing your own field, whatever you want to call it. Breaking your own tracks. Let's quickly jump into these. It's Friday. It's usually a little bit boring. 10 o'clock. We should have traded 23% to be on average volume. We've got a few in the large caps. Let's have a quick look through these. Return to growth on Kia. You'll be careful with those ones if they're debt laden as well. Construction's been. I'm going to just order these by sector. Oh, I already did. No, I didn't. There you go. Yeah, I did. See, even I don't know what I'm doing. The sun's just come on the computer now, so I can hardly see. And then we'll buzz into the small caps. I didn't know this was up today. So this one, I actually, if you want to know how I traded this, I posted it on YouTube. I bought it on this day here, I think. Here, and bumbling along, going sideways. From where we bought it, it's probably up close on to sort of 18% or something. It is what it is. It's not exactly on fire, is it? But nobody complains about an 18% gain over how long we've been in it. 20, it's 10 past, we should have traded 25% now. Small caps doing pretty well again. I see about 54 in these today. Return to growth, construction, AXS. Potential right side of a base there, but I don't. It doesn't trade towards what I trade towards. Doesn't mean it won't keep trending. Doesn't mean it's not a great sort of area. Tick up in the forward numbers on Michelmersh. We had this on the swings back here, so not in the area where I will buy it, because that's in the rear view mirror a little bit. It's pretty low on my screen anyway. CLG continues, fantastic. Just looking at that one, I'm going to punch it in. When you see something like this, I'd usually rather buy it. It can do a lot of bumbling around this all-time high level, but sometimes you get a little base here, and there, the base is what are really worth looking at. Cornish Metals IPO. Got no forward on any of these metal stocks. You know, absolute monster, FCAP. We knew it was a good one. I'll just show you the growth side of this. Unbelievable. EAH, we're on the board with another one, so I have a position in this one. I'd actually want it to go sideways for some time, a couple of months sideways and coil up, but this one is trading towards some pretty good numbers, what I like to trade towards, so I have a position. In fact, it isn't going to be hard to know all of my positions if you watch these videos. Turn. Been good to me in the past, that one. Against a hail of bear calls, I will add. So, not that many on there today. It's Friday, the sun's out. It's a little bit of a boring, the Fulham Shores in at the bottom there. Little bit of a boring sort of day usually Friday, but you know, we'll take it. Not quite all-time highs today, but we're going to close anywhere like we are now. We're going to be closing at a new all-time high on the portfolio for the week. Absolute huge moves been made over the last 12 months. That was a big talk last night in the end of day screening. We went on for another 40 minutes, I think, just talking about dealing with big profits on the table. So I plan to do a bit more on that in the future. Okay, I will leave it there.